Leadership. Everybody talks about leadership. But I want to talk about fearless leadership in fearful times. Because I think that these past years, and especially this past year in Israel, has been very fearful for a lot of people. And what we really need is fearless leadership. But before I talk about leadership, because I never structure my talks, they're always like, they just flow. And I was listening to Alexandra, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for your talk. It's very interesting. I'm one of the people who bought crypto because everybody said, hey, you gotta put some money into crypto. What the fuck is crypto? Okay. I go learn everything. I bought a readout. I learned everything by myself. Bought crypto, I think like at $58,000. Put it in the ledger. Bought all kinds of other currencies. I'm gonna play around with it just, for the hell of it, because it's a game. For me, it was a game. So I put like $10,000, $50,000 in it. They said, fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. It's in the ledger and it's still there. Maybe one day it'll be worth something. I'm not gonna touch it. But we're talking about psychology, the subconscious. I want to tell you a really short story. I'm a storyteller, and sometimes we learn things from stories. I was approached about, I think 2.5 years ago. Somebody I knew came up to me. He's a CPA, a certified accountant, serious guy. And he's split personality because he's a CPA and he's a day trader on the NASDAQ. Now, if you know what day trading is, that's like 3:30, he's getting ready in the afternoon. The NASDAQ opens, I think, like 4, 4:30, something like that. And his whole life got fucked up. He made millions in the past. And in one day, he lost everything, including all the clients' money.
Wow.
His house in Caesarea, he got divorced. I mean, like, Igra, Rama, Tabira, Mikta, you're talking that kind of stuff. He built himself back up again. And he was making money trading. And he came to me, he knows me. He said, Eddie, I want you to coach me. I said, what do you need coaching for? He said, Eddie, it's ruining my life. I have high blood sugar. I'm stressed out. Now, he's also a black belt. I'll get to this later. Somebody in my class. I never coach people who I'm, in my class. The guy's in his 50s. And he said, Eddie, I need help. Okay, he started working. What was his problem? He didn't know how to lose. He didn't know how to lose. He didn't know how to lose also on the mat in the martial arts. He would get kicked in the wrong place, he would lose it, and he would start fighting, he would get injured. Same thing in the market. He didn't know how to lose. He built a system, he was making tons of money. But every once in a while, and talking about leverage and all that kind of stuff, minuf and all this bullshit I don't understand, and then he would lose. So we started working together. And we worked together for like a year. And not only did he was making hundreds of thousands of dollars, I gave him money to invest. He was making money for me. And now why am I telling you this? Everything is psychological. His daughter was supposed to go into the army. He took her to Europe for a month. And we stopped working. It was like the end of the year. And he took his laptop and continued trading. First 2 weeks he made money. After 2 months, I get a call from him because, he stopped working. He said, Eddie, I need your help. I said, what happened? He said, Eddie, I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I said, what do you mean you lost? Same thing happened. Started leveraging, started losing. Double down, lost. Everything is psychological. In the end, he paid me. I gave him his money back afterwards. I said, you don't have enough money. Your money is scared money. When you have scared money, you don't make money. So everything is psychological. And I told him, you're going up against the monsters. You're going up against the monsters. If you don't know how to control the monsters, they're going to control you. And if they control you, you're out of the game. So that's regarding subconscious. That was very nice. Thank you, Alexandra. So, fearless leadership. What is leadership actually? I mean, everybody talks about leadership. Go on to YouTube. Everybody's talking about leadership. But what is leadership really? I would say leadership is basically three major things. And everybody in this room, I think, we're all leaders in some way. We lead teams, we lead organizations, we lead our families, we lead communities. We're leaders. But what are leaders? So I think leaders, basically, are people who make the tough decisions. That's number one. The ability to take that tough decision is the sign of a leader. But that's only one part of it. The other part is serving others, serving people. Simon Sinek says it very well. He says, leaders eat last. You have to support your team. You have to look out for your team. That's the job of a leader, not to think of himself. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong. And I don't want to go into politics now. Marty, thank you for, not talking about politics. And here we went. We talked politics big way there, man. I'm voting for Netanyahu. Okay, but that's okay. But no, I'm not joking. But seriously now, leading is actually serving. Thinking of the other person. Making sure the guys on your team are supported. Giving them the backup. Giving them the training. Being there for them and making sure that they have what they need so that they can do their job to the best manner possible. That's number 2 in leadership. But number 3 in leadership, I think, is maybe inspiring people to get on a certain path, to go on a certain way, to act in a certain way. And that's the only way to do that is by inspiring them. And that's where people get mixed up a bit, because they use words like manager, executive, commander, dictator. And they think that's also leading people. That's not leadership. Yes, you can make them do it by the force of your rank or by power, then they'll do it. They'll do it out of fear. But that's not true leadership, because true leadership is inspiring people. And that you can do it by talking, but best of all, and this we know in Israel, anybody who's been to, officer school or even general instructor school, by giving a personal example. By giving a personal example and showing people on a value basis, on a true value basis, on a moral basis, and showing people where the North Star is. And then people will go after you. And they will go after the leader into the fire if they have to. If they know that that leader is true in what he believes, and he does give a personal example. But many people don't know another thing. There's another side, or I would say there's a flip side, or the dark side of success, of being a great leader, of leading big organizations, and that most people don't know. And the dark side of success is that as a leader, you're very much alone. You're very much alone at the top of the summit. Like I said, I tell stories. And it's funny because I'm going to tell you 2 really short stories which emphasize this, how much as a leader, you don't have anybody to talk to. There's nobody you can open up to, especially if you're a leader in a big, if you have a big business. Who are you going to talk to that you made a $45 million deal and which you're going to make something like maybe a $5 million profit. You can't talk to the guys from the neighborhood you grew up with. I'm just sitting there, it's all okay, you know, but they're working on a salary. What are you going to tell them? They're going to be jealous. No matter who they are, they can be Buddha for all I care. But if you tell somebody, hey, you know, I'm making just made a $45 million deal, it's not easy. It's not many people you can say it to. On the other hand, who are you going to tell your problems? Who are you going to tell your challenges? Who can you open up to? Because sometimes people will use it against you, but not only that, people are going to start saying, you know, wow, I wish I had your troubles. Now, I'm going to give you 2 examples of this. One client of mine he exited a company in the States for more than, I think it was something like $47 million. And we're working together now because he was referred by a friend, and this is a true story. He has nothing to get up to in the morning. Guys, he doesn't have the energy to get out of fucking bed in the morning. And he has everything. Everything, you name it, he has. He has enough money for his grandchildren. But he doesn't have anything to get out of bed from. So he doesn't know what to do. And he's not going to tell anybody. I mean, you can't go around telling, hey, you know, I made $7 million exit, but now I don't want to get out of bed in the morning. You say, like, fuck you, you know, who the fuck, what's going on here?
That's right.
And this is, okay, that's one story. So it's not everything is about money here. As a matter of fact, it's not much about money in the end. And I'll tell you another story. Another client, we were working together, we started working together from the States about 2 years ago. We was referred by another client of mine. The first guy was referred by a friend, a mutual friend. The second guy I'm talking about, he's in his 60s. We got together, we met on Zoom. He was trying to get divorced from his wife, listen closely, 13 years. He's Jewish. The first guy wasn't Jewish. He's Jewish. His wife wouldn't give him a divorce. She wanted to take him, skin him alive, take everything he had, all his company. She wanted to ruin him. And they were working out of court for 13 years. And it affected his health already. He was in and out of hospitals. He's in his 60s. So we got together. He told me, Eddie, listen, trying to get divorced, already 13 years. The last settlement he offered her, listen closely, $75 million cash on the table. Just give me the get. And her lawyers came back. Her legal team came back and said, not only are we not accepting your offer, but here are the VIN numbers of the cars in your Ferrari collection, which we want. This is a true story. I'm not making anything up. We worked together for a half a year. He was in and out of hospitals. He lost his health. And I explained to him. I said, what the fuck is the matter with you? The first time I said that, he was like, what do you mean? Nobody spoke to him ever in his life like that. I said, listen, I'm going to come over, I'm going to take the baseball bat, I'm going to smack you over your head. You have a 40-year-old girlfriend, a blonde chick's a beautiful woman. You have a beautiful life. You have a beautiful company. Everything is fantastic. And your wife's not giving you a divorce and you're in and out of hospitals. What's the matter with you? Where's your perspective? You have to be the chief of staff. The chief of staff, Dado, in the Yom Kippur War, I mean, we were losing on the southern front. We were losing on the northern front. But we had a chief of staff who was like a rock. And he wouldn't break because you win a little, you lose a little, but you know, you have an overall perspective. You go up 30,000 feet and then you come down each time you get the right perspective. So you have to learn how to be chief of staff of your life. And we worked together for half a year. And he got it. Everything was fine. And we stopped working. It was okay. He got his life back in order. I was in the States right after the war started a year ago. And I saw him there. We had lunch together. And he says to me, Eddie, you're going to get mad at me. I said, why am I going to get mad at you? He said, I offered 110. And I got mad at him. I said, you fuck. That's how I said. I said, you fuck. Why don't you call me? We would have worked it out. You offered 100, and they refused. It was still out of court, and he told me, it looks like we're going to court. This is the biggest out-of-court divorce case going on in the States. How did everything end? It did end in the end. 4 months ago, I'm walking down the street, get a phone call. Eddie, I finalized the divorce. I'm sending you money. I want to start working again. I said, how did that happen? We made, he checked all his assets. He had no idea that he is worth over $1 billion. He had no idea. He said, Eddie, I understood I'm worth over $1 billion. Give me the money, get the fuck out of here, get out of my life, continue. And that's a true story. And what is this all about? What is it all about? It's about fear. It's about fear. Because fear is one of the most major components in our lives that hold us back. That hold us back from living our life. We're afraid to go over to the beautiful girl sitting at the bar and start talking to her because she might not want to speak to us. Hey, we're afraid to start that project because what our friends are going to say if we don't succeed. We're afraid of doing anything. What are people going to think of me? So we're scared. And fear can come in all kinds of ways. Me, I'm not scared of much in life. But if I have to get a needle in my arm in the hospital, I might run away. Honestly. If I have to make a blood test, and I won't make a blood test, but if I need a blood test, I gotta lie down, because I'm gonna faint. Honestly, me. So fear comes out in all kinds of ways. And I think the job of a true leader is to deal with fear every day. And how do you know if you're a leader? And by the way, this I heard from somebody. These are not my words. I heard something very nice once. How do you know really if you're a leader? Look behind you. See if people are following. If they're following you, a leader. You're a leader. But now I'm going to give you the opposite way. The job of a leader is also to make tough decisions in which maybe the people that he's leading won't like. That's the job of a leader. The job of a politician is to take polls and to go where the people want to go. The job of a true leader is to give them the North Star and show them where to go by example, by inspiring them, and by doing it first. That's the job of a true leader. And every moment in our lives, we have to make decisions. Every moment. Most of those moments, life is bigger than us. We're just a speck of sand in the whole universe, in the metaverse. I mean, in everything you want to talk about. Who are we? We're nothing. We're nothing and we're everything. It's okay, you know. But, hey, we don't control anything. Who's controlling? I just did this with my hand. Who made me do that? But that's it. Those are deep questions. I deal with that. But we're not going to talk about that right now. But the thing is that we have every moment to make decisions. Right or left, or straight or back, or whatever. We have to make decisions. Most of the time, things are bigger than us. Most of the time. But there are moments in our lives which we have the ability and the power to make decisions, and those decisions will affect our lives forever, because our lives were on a certain path, and from that moment on, depending on our decision, life takes a totally different trajectory, and we're in a different path. I call those moments defining moments. Certain moments, and everybody, if we think here, we all have those certain moments in our lives in which we made a certain decision, and our lives changed totally. Totally. I'd like to tell you a few defining moments in my life.
Easy, babe. We're gonna get there. I know the way. So you drive another 2 hours, right? Right? But you don't ask for help. Ask for help, man. We're John Wayne. We don't ask for help. We give help. Yeah, we give help, but we can't do it anymore. And then something in my brain clicked, and I said, you know, Eddie, you need help. And I don't know how, in the fog, you know, I clicked and I remembered Marguerite. Marguerite was a psychoanalyst I worked with after the Army service. We worked together for about 2 or 3 years, 2 years maybe, something like that. And I stayed in contact with her. Over the years, a session here, a session there, regarding my kid, you know, stuff like that. And I called her up, said, Eddie, okay, come on. You know, I was crying. I said, Margaret, my life is over, you know. Said, she calmed me down. She said, Eddie, okay, come over this afternoon. I'll make room for you. It'll be okay. And we sat together. She said, listen, Eddie. She explained to me that I had a major anxiety attack. Now listen, guys. I don't know, I hope nobody has gone through a major anxiety attack in the room. It's very similar to a major heart attack. I mean, this is like big time. This is bad. And she explained that's what I went through. So she said, listen, we're gonna, you know, we'll have a couple of sessions together and it'll be okay. And there's somebody I want you to meet. And I remember, I'll never forget that. I said, Marguerite, right now the way I feel, I'm willing to meet Jesus fucking Christ if I have to. She said, no, you don't have to meet Jesus. His name is Jonathan Harris. He's a close friend of mine. He's a teacher of Buddhist spiritual path of meditation. He's a former physicist, was in high tech, he was, you know, CEO of companies, all that, and he changed his life. He teaches psychologists. 5 minutes. Okay. And that's how I met my master. There's a beautiful saying in the East: when the student is ready, the master appears. And that's how I started my spiritual path, which I'm in the path more than 20 years already. I started asking questions. Now I said to him, how is it possible? How is it possible that somebody who has so-called everything, again, so-called everything, and I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied, I'm not fulfilled. I grew up in the days of the 60s, 70s, eat your food. There's starving children in Africa. In my days, it was in Biafra. I'm 66. Shut your mouth, be quiet, sit in your seat, do your homework, you have a great life. Do what you're told. Don't stand out. Especially coming from a family, a religious family, parents coming from Europe, emigrated to the States. I was born in the States. Don't stand out. I said, how is this possible? That if you do everything, and in the end you go to work, and you marry a nice girl, and you have children, and after 40 years you get the gold watch from the company, and after 50 years it's over, and then you look back and you say, what the hell did I do in my life? What did I do? And that's why I'm here today. I'm here today to hold up a mirror for you guys. I'm here to hold up a mirror. But not the usual mirror which you usually see yourself, with all your faults, with all your imperfections, with all the things that are limiting you and holding you back. I want to take that mirror, I want to fucking smash it. I want to smash the mirror. I want to hold up another mirror, a different mirror, in which you can see yourself with all your glory. With all your glory, how you are meant to be in life, with nothing holding you back, with no limitations, and understanding that the only things that are limiting us is our mind. We're limiting ourselves. And when you understand that, you start living. That's how you start living, and that's my mission in life. And since I have maybe now another minute, and I hold you to that, Daniel, that's okay. I'm going to sum everything up very quickly for you guys. I lived a crazy life. I walked down the wild side. And I got divorced. Because of that, I smashed into my divorce at 300 miles an hour into a brick wall. I never saw it coming. And I disintegrated. That was the first time somebody broke me in my life. I signed a tiny little slip of paper, gave everything away, almost everything. And then I woke up after a day and I went back to fight counterattack. And then I thought that I was at the top of the mountain. I went down to the lowest of the lows. And only today I say, then, when I had so-called, I'm talking about beautiful house in Ramat Hashem, 8-figure company, no mortgage, no bank loans, nothing. More money than I could have to spend. Mercedes S500, change, bringing it in every year, getting a new one. That was important to me. Fuck that. Today, that's what I say. Fuck that. Show me who you are inside. Show me what you got when there's nothing left. Show me what you got when there's nothing left. Who are you then? Without the clothes, without all the brands, and I built brands in Israel. That's what I've been doing my whole life. I've been selling the illusion. So, who am I in the end? My name is Eddie Lindenbaum. I'm 66 years old. I've been more than 40 years an entrepreneur and a businessman. I've been blessed by the Almighty with a lot of luck. I say more luck than seichel than anything, and you need a lot of luck in business. Besides that, I teach the martial arts. I have an 8th-degree black belt in one of the most extreme combat-oriented martial arts coming out of Israel called Dennis Yisardut, Dennis Survival Jiu-Jitsu. I teach at the main dojo in Herzliya under my Grandmaster Dennis. That's a privilege for me.
Amen.
And I do it on a total voluntary basis. I do a lot of voluntary work. I teach the spiritual path. At the age of 47, I hit my divorce. I was locked out of my business, locked out of my banks, locked out of everything for a year. At the end of the year, World War III, we finalized the divorce, came out with a couple of bucks in my pocket, started from scratch everything, built another business, a 7-figure business. I was the importer of scotch and soda for the past 15 years. Before that, of Replay and many, many other brands. And 5 years ago, I woke up one day and I understood what my mission is. I had enough of business, even though I all have property in Morocco. We're building in Morocco now, in Romania, property here, property there, and I still have a small business in the fashion business. But today I coach people, and that's my mission in life, to help others break through and to be themselves a fearless leader in fearful times, because dealing with our fears and being a leader is maybe the most important thing today in life, in business, in our personal lives, in anything. So, thank you so much for your time. I really hope that I didn't, put you to sleep. That's great. Thank you, Daniel, for having me.